Stephen King, probably one of the greatest horror writers to ever exist. He published his first novel, Carrie, in 1974 and his most recent, Billy Summers, this August. With the countless novels he has written, one of the most popular is undoubtedly The Shining. Happy Halloween everyone, and welcome back to Full Energy Productions, where I explain what a movie is and review horror movies when it is in October. Published in 1977 and loosely based on King's personal experience, The Shining follows the Torrance family after the father, Jack Torrance, accepts a job occupying the isolated mountain hotel, the Overlook Hotel, for the winter. The son, Danny, has a supernatural ability known as The Shining that causes the vengeful spirits of the hotel to torment the family. Eventually, it causes Jack to snap and turn on and try to murder the family. In 1980, rights were sold to Stanley Kubrick to make a full-length movie. The movie was released to positive reviews by a lot, except King. 36 years later, after the first novel was released and after much request, King released in 2013 the novel and sequel, Dr. Sleep. In 2019, Warner Brothers would release a movie of the novel starring Ewan McGregor. It was directed by Mike Flanagan, who also made The Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor. The film follows the book more closely, and King has said that he does like this adaptation. The film follows Danny Torrance 31 years after the events of the first film, and perfectly blends both the novel and the Kubrick film into one movie. The plot of the film follows Danny finding a young girl named Abra, who is shown to also have the Shining ability, but on a level no one has ever seen before. This alerts the attention of the group, known as the True Knot. Explaining the True Knot over voice is very difficult, so bear with me. The True Knot is a group of near-immortals who also shine, who feed on the steam people who shine produce when killed in order to stay immortal. The leader of the True Knot is called Rose the Hat, who is one of the greatest antagonists I've ever seen. She is portrayed incredibly by Rebecca Ferguson in one of the most underrated roles I've ever seen. I feel the only reason she wasn't nominated for an Oscar is because the Academy has a huge problem with horror movies for some reason, which is one of the long list of problems I have with the Academy. Regardless, after learning of Abra's powers, the True Knot try and hunt her down. Danny is suffering from extreme PTSD and as a result is a crippling alcoholic, struggling to even pay for a rented block. So the movie is actually a redemption story, which I love. For this review I used the director's cut, which adds a 30-minute runtime to the 2.5-hour movie, making it 3 hours, and it's worth it. The first act is really slow, but indeed very necessary to develop each character in depth. Still, even looking at the runtime, this movie may actually be my favourite movie ever. Now, without any further ado, let's get down to the ratings. As always, first is originality. Stephen King's stories are usually extremely original. Some may absolutely suck, case in point Maximum Overdrive, but you have to admit, it's at least original. Never in my history of watching movies have I ever seen anything close to what this is. 10 out of 10. Second, as always, is storyline. As I said before, the first act is really long and slow, and if I were to explain this entire movie's plot, this video would be way too long. Besides that, as long as it may be, I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy the first act, as it is completely necessary. 9 out of 10. Third, as always, is script. True perfection in writing. I'm not overstating it. Start showing this movie as well as Tarantino movies in film school to show perfection in writing. 10 out of 10. Fourth is my favourite, characters. Ewan McGregor's portrayal of Danny Torrance is an incredible character from start to finish, as well as Abra and Rose the Hat, which is one of the reasons why this movie is so amazing to me. Since I have stated before, characters are the most important part of a movie to me. 10 out of 10. Fifth is acting. As I have stated before, Rebecca Ferguson's portrayal of Rose the Hat is absolutely amazing, and it is so unfortunate that the Academy didn't even consider this movie. And Ewan McGregor has definitely been doing amazing with his acting in recent years. 10 out of 10. Of course, next is special effects. This movie, like the greats, uses practical effects when it can. It shows up better on screen and adds to the believability of the situation. Apart from that, the CG isn't terrible and is actually used really nicely in very trippy shots. 9 out of 10. Next is editing. I have one word. Astonishing. During research, I actually learned that the shot of Danny and Abra driving up the hill to the Overlook Hotel is actually the exact same shot from the original in 1980, just edited to disguise itself as a new shot, and it works perfectly. 9 out of 10. Next is creativity. The creativity of this movie is terrific, just like the mine of Stephen King. And the amount of justice this film does to his novel is almost point for point, yet still managing to remain creative in its own way. 10 out of 10. Ninth is entertainment value. The entertainment value of this movie extremely relies on if you can push through the first act to maintain the character development this movie sets up. If you can, it's an incredible watch, and it deserves a 10 out of 10. And of course, last but not least is personal opinion. This movie is one of, if not my favourite movie of all time, and somehow it makes me love it even more every time I watch it, and until something better comes out, it will remain that way for a long time and maybe even forever. 10 out of 10. That brings Dr. Sleep to a total of 97 out of 100. And now for my thoughts. This movie came out at the wrong time, I feel. Earlier in the year, Endgame was released, which annihilated the box office, and I feel that most movies that were released later in the year were almost forgotten about and weren't given a chance, which includes this movie. I know I say this a lot, but seriously, give it a watch. Just a heads up, don't expect a review in November, as I've got something planned in December. I'll give a sneak peek. Have a happy Halloween, everyone. But be safe, because you never know if the ghost of your past may follow you. Stay safe, everyone.